Good morning. Welcome to the class of research methodology, and today it is my probably the third class of research methodology, where we will be discussing how to format a research paper, what are the essential parts of a research paper, and certain things related to research papers and formatting, etc. Let's come to the main point. I think I see only one student has come. Garg is present. Good morning. Now, what are the important things that you need to learn while writing a research paper? This is the very first thing. What are the things that you need to learn while writing a research paper? So, these should be the targets, the learning targets. One is how to choose a topic. Now, in our previous class, we have discussed regarding selection of topic and how we will select a topic. Now, the second thing is how to write a thesis. First is how to choose a topic, that we have done. Second is how to write a thesis or introductory statement. So this particular thesis, don't confuse it with the thesis that you are going to submit at the end of your PhD research or your MPhil dissertation. So this is not that thesis, but good morning. That is the premise. That is also known as the thesis. So next is how to write a thesis or an introductory statement. That is number 2. Number 3 is understanding the difference between plagiarism and acceptable plagiarism. So plagiarism is a very problematic thing throughout the research process, because we need to take others' ideas and we need to quote other statements and what others have thought, which are quite related to your own research process. So all these can be labeled as plagiarism, but a certain amount of plagiarism is acceptable with proper acknowledgement. So the thing is, while we are taking others' ideas, we need to acknowledge that. Even self-plagiarism is a thing which is also a very important factor in your research process. And this self-plagiarism is, suppose you are taking something from your previous writing in your present paper or in your present thesis. You are taking something what you have written in your previous paper or in a book or a chapter or whatever it is. So when you are even taking something from your own writing, you also need to acknowledge that, because that adds to your academic integrity. So self-plagiarism is something about which you need to be aware of. Now, plagiarism is something which is a very bad thing and which is a sort of crime in the context of research and academic writing. But we all take others' ideas with proper acknowledgement. But if we see that the whole work that you have done is actually a collection of other people's wisdom with proper acknowledgement, that too also won't make you free from that very charge of plagiarism, because there should be something which is primarily your own. That is also important. Now, you can take others' ideas and others' points and others' statements and others' thoughts also, but you need to acknowledge that, and there should be a limit. Now, today, when you will be doing your research, there is a mandate from the University Grants Commission that you need to check your thesis or your paper with a software, and that is Urkunda, something like that kind of software. Now, for that software will check your paper and let you know what is the percentage of plagiarism that is there in your work. Now generally what happens, 10% to 15% of plagiarism is okay, but it is something more than 20%, then they may suggest you to rewrite your paper, checking the things. You need to lessen the plagiarized elements or part from your writing. And if it is something more than 20%, something say like 30% or 40%, they will reject your paper or your thesis. So while you are writing, you need to be aware of the thing that what is the percentage of borrowing from others' writings and others' thoughts. So this is the thing about plagiarism and acceptable plagiarism. Now the first I said about topic selection, second is how to write a thesis, third is the difference between understanding the difference between plagiarism and acceptable plagiarism, fourth is how to use parenthetical notations. So when you are noting something, how to use the parenthesis, okay. And second is bibliography and its proper format. Now regarding the fifth part, it is not possible for me to take the class of work cited list, preparing the work cited list and select bibliography online, because I need a board and I need to show you something. I will suggest all of you to collect MLA handbook 8th edition, so that when the university will be open and when everything will be normal, we will do that is preparing the works cited list, how to make proper acknowledgement, how to cite, how to quote. There are several types, there are several styles are there, like MLA and APA, but for thesis writing in case of literature and humanities, generally we follow the MLA. The fifth part is bibliography and proper format. Okay. Now you all know what is a research. Now structuring a research paper, what should be the structure of your research paper? Suppose I am writing a thesis or just a research paper, so there should be a proper structure. This is applicable to all types of research papers, abstract part, where there will be an outline of what you are going to do. The second part is the introduction or the thesis statement. That is the very first line. Very first part of your thesis paper should be abstract, where there will be the outline given. Second is the introduction or the thesis. Okay, there was an interruption. Sorry. Let's come back. Third is the literature review. That in literature review, what you have to do is you need to study what other people have done research work, what kind of research work has been done in this particular field or on that particular writer or on that particular topic. That will come under the purview of literature review. So literature review is very important, because if you don't do a proper literature review, you won't be able to establish what you are going to do and how your work is completely different, or where lies the novelty of your research, number one. And second is there will be chances that your topic may have certain resemblances with the other works that have been done earlier. So you need to be very careful while doing the literature review. Fourth is the methodology. So what is the methodology that you are trying to take up? Now regarding methods and methodology, I have discussed in our previous classes, so you all know what is a methodology is and a method is, methods and methodology. 4 is the results. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is results. So what are the things that you are expecting as an outcome of your research work? The outcome, research outcome. Next is discussion. Discussion means here you need to discuss something about the outcomes, the research outcomes of your research paper or your thesis, and what are the scopes that are there still in your research area with which you can further carry on your research, or is the research outcome potential enough to enable you to carry on your research in further. so that you can explore the area and find out more things. So research should not be close-ended, it should be open-ended, so that it can open up new research vistas for further exploration. That it will come under the part that is discussion. Next is the conclusion. You need to draw the conclusion. Third is reference. Reference means what are the books and works that you have used or referred to in your work. The quotations, the sometimes you have the books you need to discuss certain parts from other books, or you have taken, or you have referred to other books, or you have taken help from other books, their thoughts, their opinions, something. Suppose you haven't quoted directly, but you have taken the idea, that too also you need to acknowledge in your research work. Now in the the modern research papers and in thesis, we generally in earlier times we used to do what? We used to prepare separate work cited list for each of the chapters of your thesis, and at the end there was sort of comprehensive bibliography and bibliography and something. Now generally what we do, that is we prepare a comprehensive and exhaustive select bibliography at the end, where all the books that from which you have quoted, all the papers and articles from which you have quoted, they are also there, as well as the books that you have consulted, the ideas that you have taken, and other helps you have taken from those books and papers and articles. You need to include that in your select bibliography at the end, which will be exhaustive and more comprehensive. So that is the reference part. And appendices is something which we generally don't do in case of thesis, but it is good to use that. Appendices means, suppose you have done a work on a particular writer, so in the appendix part you can add something more which are not exactly related to your research topic, but which will show that you have done further study, or you have certain plans to carry on with your research after you have completed your thesis or after you get awarded. At the same time, your appendix will also show you project you as a researcher who is trying to explore something more out of apart from the research topic that you have selected. Or suppose you have conducted a sort of interview with the writer or any particular person related to that work. You can add that interview, or particular suppose your work have certain relationship with the film, you can add, or you can give certain film posters which will support your research argument and something, but which if you add directly into the main part of your research, that will make your research a bit boring, or it may diverse your research argument. So that those parts you can add into the appendix part or appendices. So this is the thing. Now what you will be doing in abstract, that is in abstract, just a minute, can I take a 2-minute break? Okay.